Oh, my name is Dan Hunter, and this is my Intro to Code mobile apps video. Today we're going to be making a currency converter. So just before we begin, a couple of links. You can find the App Inventor at appinventor.mit.edu, or just type in App Inventor to any search engine and you should find it. Resources can be found on my Google Drive at bit.ly/2z NTS5, and you can also find my YouTube channel with this tutorial and many others on bit.ly/danhyt. Okay, so let's have a look at our plan for what we're going to do today. Okay, we are leveling up with our mobile apps. We're going to do a 3-screen app. In this tutorial, I'm only going to make 2 screens. Your homework is for you to make the other screen. The first screen is here. It's just going to have 2 buttons. It's going to have a button that will take us to convert GBP. And what that will do is we will type in amount in Great British pounds. And when we hit the convert button, the amount in Canadian dollars will appear underneath. We'll also have a back to menu button, which will take us back. There's also going to be a convert to Canada, which will take us to a Canada screen where you enter an amount in Canadian dollars and it will convert it to Great British dollars. I haven't planned out that screen because, to be honest, it's going to be more or less like my first screen. So there we go. There's the plan. Let's get started. Okay, so to the App Inventor. New project, I'm going to call this currency. And we're going to look at a few new things to organize our layout here. So the first thing I'm going to do is select screen 1. I'm just going to change the label up at the very top. And that's going to be called currency conversion app. There we go. So I hit app. Now, rather than just drag the buttons across, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to layout. Layout's really cool for arranging things one on top of another. For this, I want to use a table layout. So this will allow me to put buttons all over the place in a set order. Now, actually, I have selected the wrong one, so I'm just going to delete that here. I'm actually going to do vertical arrangement first, so that will allow me to put the buttons on top of each other. The table allows me to go both down, horizontal, and vertically across. So we're just going to use the vertical arrangement for this screen 1. So here's my 2 buttons. 1, you can see it highlights in blue. There you go. There's my 2 buttons, 1, 2 on top of each other. So let's rename them. A BTN. This is going to be Great British Pounds. And this button, BTN, is going to be Canadian dollars, CAN. There we go. Now, I'm just going to change the text. The common mistake is people will mix up the text of the button. They'll put Great British Pounds on the Canadian button, so just take your time. This is the button that's going to convert from Canadian to Great British Pounds. So from CAD to GBP. Oh, bit of a typo there. Also going to stretch this. Fill. Okay. Next one. There you go. This is from GBP to CAD. I'm also going to whip that and fill that. Now, our buttons aren't having that stretch effect, and that's because that vertical arrangement is narrow. We need to stretch that along as well. So let's go to the vertical arrangement. Let's go to width and fill, and that stretches everything nicely. So that's our first screen made. Now here's some new stuff. To add a new screen, we read the screen up here. We've got add screen option. So we click on that, and it says give us a name. Big fan of naming things properly. So SCR for screen. And this is going to be GBP. So this is the Great British Pounds to Canadian. While I'm at it, I might as well add another screen. There you go. SCR, and this is going to be to Canadian dollars. It's a bit of a delay. As it sets it up, there we go. And we can see that that's up there. So now if I use this menu top here, I can switch between my different screens. Screen 1, screen GBP, and Canada. So let's just tidy this up before we put anything in there. Go to screen 1, and let's change the title from GBP to Canadian dollars. Here you go. And do the same for Canadian dollars. From Canadian dollars to GBP. Nice and neat. Now, I'm really only going to function on one of these screens. Like I said, you can build the other screen after we've done it. Okay, so this is where I go to my layout, and this is where I correctly select the table arrangement. And it's a good idea to have your mock-up. There we go, there's the mock-up, so that's what I'm going to do. So there's cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, cell 4, and then buttons underneath it. So let's have a look. So I want the buttons underneath it first. So there's 1, there's 2. That's going to be my button to convert. And then BTN convert. The other button is going to be, so let's rename that. Put some text in there. Convert. Just put an exclamation mark in because it's exciting. There we go. And let's stretch that out. Oh, I've done the height. Not the... And this button is going to be return back to the menu. Yeah, menu. And the text, return to menu. And let's widen that out. Boom. Okay. So now the user interface, we're going to use a label. Label is text that the user can't change. So the label in there, this is going to be enter amount in GBP. And then alongside it, we need a text box because that's what the user will type into. So let's just kind of get it alongside. Oh, it's been a pain. Oh, there we go. Excellent. So that's where they're going to type in that. And that text box is called text box 1. Now, good idea to rename it TXTGBP. So that's the text box that they enter the Great British Pounds in. Let's put in another label. Just text. Dollars. Let's put a dollar sign in there. Enter. Now, I'm going to put in another label alongside it. That's going to be what's going to change. So I'm going to change this, rename to LBL CAD, Canadian dollars. That's the one that's going to change. Now, I haven't changed the labels because I'm just going to leave them there. Label 1, label 2, because I'm not interacting with them. It's a bit lazy, it's a bit cheeky, but we'll carry on here. So you enter your amount, you hit convert, and label Canadian dollars will change the amount. We don't want it to say text for label. We will just delete that so it won't actually say anything whatsoever at the moment. So there's our first screen. I'm not going to set up the other screen. You can do that for your homework. So let's go to the code and get this to work. Now the first thing is that we need to go to screen 1 and we want these buttons to work. So when I click that, it goes to screen GBP. Very simple. When we click Canadian dollars, it goes to the other screen. So you've got to make sure you got it right. Have I got this right? No, look, I've done exactly what I've said. I've got the button labels wrong. No, that's cool. From Canadian, yeah, that's cool. So GBP to Canadian, Canadian to GBP. Very easy to get confused. So let's go to the block. Right. So all the button commands are there. When the button clicked, do what? And I believe it's under control. There we go. And we've got open up another screen. So I'll put those together. So when button GBP is pressed, I want it to open a screen. There's another piece where I have to enter the name of the screen. So that requires text. So I grab the text option. This is blank. There we go. Now I've got to remember, what did I call the button screen? If you forget, you've got them here. SCR-GBP. So I just type that in. Okay, I've done something wrong. Let's try that again. That's better. Don't know where that came from. Let's get rid of it. So when that button is pressed, open up screen GBP. Now the great thing is that the other button is going to do exactly the same. It's just going to open up a different screen. I could drag the pieces across alternatively, just duplicate it and change it. So instead of button GBP, that's button Canada. We want that to say. CAN. There you go. Now I'm going to show you a little cheat here. This is very, very handy because this button, this code is going to be exactly the same going from my currency screen back to the menu. So when that go to menu button is pressed, it goes back. So what I can do is I can drag this into my backpack for later. So remember that. So let's change the screen. Go to screen GBP. Go to our backpack. And here's some bits and bobs. So grab that across. So here, I've got button menu. So now when button menu is clicked, what do I want it to do? I want it to go to a different screen. This time, I want it to go to my main screen, which its name is screen 1. So that's those buttons. That button done. And those two buttons done. All I've got to do now, hit on one, is now get this to work. So when I click convert, it gets the value of that text box and puts it on that label. So let's go and do that. Make sure I'm on the right screen. There you go. So again, this is when that button is clicked. So I need to go to button convert. When button is clicked, what to do. Now, what I need to do is I need to find label Canada. What I need to do is I need to change the text, set label Canada, the text to a value. So I grab this across. I know it doesn't say text, but let's have a look at this. This is the object. These are the properties of the object. At the moment, you've got font size. If you pull down, you've got lots of different properties there. And look, there's text. So the moment convert is clicked, what I want it to do is I want it to change the text of that label. So that one goes in there. Well, what do I want it to change it to? Well, I want to get the text from my text box, text GBP, and I want to multiply it by whatever the rate is. Now, again, that's the bit I want. Now, yeah, it doesn't say text, but again, text is in there. Oh, look, I'm in the way. Look, there it is. So that means, get it. Now, that piece won't work because all it will do is it will make the label whatever I type into the text box. So if I type in 10, then Canadian dollars will be 10. I need to do some maths. So I need the maths option. And currency conversions is basically a multiplier. So we get that, the multiplier box. And in one part, I put multiply the text in text GBP by a value. What is that value? Well, maths again enables to put in a value. Roughly, it's 1.65. So 1 UK pound equals 1.65 Canadian dollars. So if I attach that, let's just go through it again. The moment the convert button is clicked, it will set the text of label Canada to 1.65 times whatever the value is in that text box. And there you have it. That's just one screen. The other screen, Screen Canada, is virtually identical. I'm going to let you guys set that up. So once you've done that, you can run through build. just logging into my phone. We make it do an APR code, and we're going to generate this in real time. It's not properly complete, but it will do. So while that's downloading for a QR code, I will open up my camera. 100%, waiting for the barcode. Bingo, nothing. Oh, there we go. So just scan that. Gives me a little link, don't know if you can see that. So I click it, and link. Right, real time. So it's downloading it now. And okay. Do you want to install this application? So I say yes. Installed it. App installed. And I'm good to test it. So there's my buttons there. So let's have a look. Quite difficult to do when I'm looking at it. And there's my currency screen. Type in an amount. Hit convert, and it tells me the amount there. So it's getting there. It's getting there. So now it's up to you. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. You've leveled up in your application code. My name has been Dan Hunter. This has been my tutorial on creating a currency conversion. I'd like to see what you get up to. Enjoy. Bye-bye.